Christmas at my house has never been what you'd call calm. Some families sip hot cocoa by the fire and sing carols in harmony. My family? We're more like a holiday blooper reel. But this particular Christmas was one for the record books. It all began on Christmas Eve morning, when Mom decided that we needed to have the most magical, picture-perfect Christmas ever. Those words are dangerous. They summon chaos the way candy summons children. By 8 a.m., the living room looked like a department store exploded. Boxes of ornaments everywhere. Strands of lights tangled like spaghetti. Tinsel draped over the dog. Dad was outside wrestling with the inflatable Santa, which kept deflating in a way that made it look like Santa was slowly fainting on our front lawn. "Are you sure this is safe?" I asked as Dad tried to duct tape Santa's arm to the chimney. "Safe? It's festive," he declared. Seconds later, Santa collapsed dramatically onto the driveway, knocking over 2 candy canes and a plastic reindeer. That should have been our first warning. The second came when our neighbors, the Johnsons, decided to help. They were the kind of people who take holiday decorating as a competitive sport. Mr. Johnson had installed a light show synced to music so loud it rattled our windows. Mrs. Johnson baked cookies shaped like every single reindeer, plus one shaped like the Grinch. At 10 a.m., Mr. Johnson leaned over the fence with a grin. "Need any help?" Dad puffed out his chest. "Nope. We've got it under control." At that exact moment, our tree fell over inside the house. The Johnsons didn't say anything. They just smirked. Meanwhile, inside, the tree situation was deteriorating. It was the biggest tree we'd ever had, and it had the balance of a drunk giraffe. Every time we stood it up, it leaned dangerously, like it was plotting its escape. "Maybe we should tie it to the wall?" I suggested. Mom gasped. "Absolutely not. This tree is going to stand tall and proud like a symbol of our family's unity." 5 minutes later, the tree crashed again, burying our cat in a pile of ornaments. The cat survived, but 3 glass snowflakes didn't. That's when my cousin Tyler showed up. Tyler is the kind of person who thinks he's helpful but somehow makes everything worse. He brought along a karaoke machine and announced that this Christmas would feature non-stop holiday jams. Within minutes, Jingle Bell Rock was blasting at full volume, and Tyler was crooning like a lounge singer who'd had too much eggnog. By lunchtime, chaos had spread to the kitchen. Mom was in full cooking frenzy mode, barking orders like a general preparing for battle. "Stir that gravy. Don't burn the rolls. Where's the nutmeg?" I opened the oven to check the turkey, and smoke billowed out like a volcanic eruption. "Shut the oven. Shut it," Mom screamed, flapping a dish towel. Meanwhile, Dad ran in from outside, covered in snow and bits of plastic Santa. "The Johnsons challenged us to a snowman building contest," he announced. "We cannot lose." So now, half the family was in the kitchen trying not to burn dinner, while the other half was outside frantically rolling snowballs the size of boulders. The snowman contest got out of hand quickly. The Johnsons built a pristine, magazine-worthy snowman complete with a scarf, top hat, and even a monocle. Ours looked like a lumpy marshmallow with 2 eyes that were actually olives from the fridge. "Maybe it has character?" I offered weakly. The Johnson kids laughed so hard they fell into the snow. Dad vowed revenge. Back inside, Tyler decided to test his karaoke machine's party smoke feature. Unfortunately, he didn't read the instructions, so instead of harmless fog, it filled the living room with a smell that could only be described as burnt pickles. The cat bolted under the couch. The dog barked at the machine like it was possessed. And Mom, on the edge of a breakdown, yelled, "If one more thing goes wrong, I am canceling Christmas." At that exact moment, the power went out. The whole house plunged into darkness. The only light came from the Johnsons' synchronized reindeer display across the street, which continued blaring "All I Want for Christmas Is You" like nothing had happened. For a moment, we all stood in silence. Then Dad, ever the optimist, said, "Well, at least it's atmospheric?" What followed was the strangest, funniest Christmas Eve I've ever experienced. Without power, we couldn't cook, so we all sat around the fireplace eating potato chips, cold rolls, and leftover Halloween candy. Tyler tried to keep spirits high with acoustic carols on a ukulele he found in the basement. He only knew 3 chords, but somehow we all ended up singing along. The Johnsons, seeing our house dark, came over with lanterns and hot cocoa. Instead of gloating, they actually sat down with us. Soon the living room was crowded. Our family, the Johnsons, cousins, neighbors who wandered in when they saw the glow of candles. The broken tree leaned against the wall like it had given up. The dog was wearing tinsel. The cat had claimed an entire plate of cookies. And everyone was laughing. Around midnight, just as we were telling stories and roasting marshmallows in the fireplace, the power flickered back on. The lights returned, the oven beeped, the inflatable Santa outside whirred back to life. Except now, instead of collapsing, it rocketed upright, towering over the driveway like a giant festive sentinel. Everyone cheered. The turkey was ruined, the rolls were charcoal, and half the ornaments were shattered, but none of it mattered. For the first time that day, the house actually felt magical. Not picture-perfect magazine magical, but real magical, the kind that comes from chaos, laughter, and too many people crammed into one room. Mom sighed, finally smiling. "Well, it's not perfect, but maybe perfect is overrated." Dad raised his mug of cocoa. "To the most chaotic, ridiculous, unforgettable Christmas ever." And everyone clinked their mugs, even the Johnsons. Christmas morning was equally wild, wrapping paper everywhere, the cat climbing the tree one last time. Tyler attempting Feliz Navidad on his ukulele, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. Because that's the thing about my family. We don't do calm, but we definitely do memorable. And honestly, I think that's better. The end.